make some sense of it all, but I can see it makes no sense at all. Is it cool to go to sleep on the floor? 'Cause I don't think that I can take anymore. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
Good morning, everyone. Lots going on as usual. Today's Friday already, February 27th, 2026. They want to ram through Bill C9. They're going to force it through with limited debate, and they'll just say, oh, anybody who doesn't support this is a bigoted racist and all sorts of other mean names. And why do we tolerate these people, a la Justin Trudeau? Ooh, I have more tea. I thought I finished my tea, but I didn't, so that's great. Trade with China is a bad move, and they should feel bad. There's a whole bunch of people pushing back on this whole thing, Chrystia Freeland, and other people who are pushing back on this. So that's interesting. We'll see how it all plays out. We are certainly playing with a dangerous set of circumstances, or allowing our leaders to play with a dangerous set of circumstances that would replace the United States with China. And that's not good, because the United States is mostly not communist, probably, and China is most definitely communist. So I'd rather not be communist under China. I'd rather be less communist under the United States. We'll see. Voting to continue paying for illegals healthcare. So there was a really raucous debate yesterday in the House of Commons, and then after the debate they held a vote to make sure that everybody was still on board with paying for illegal people who have been denied refugee status and all sorts of other stuff, their healthcare and stuff. So they get to vote to spend our money on non-citizens flooding our hospitals. Why do you think they'd betray us like that? Because they don't work for us. Hillary Clinton, at the end of the show, she was deposed yesterday, and I think that's what it is. And apparently the video is going to come out, and she claimed that she doesn't recall meeting Mr. Epstein or anything like that. So that's weird, because there's pictures with her and Epstein. BC introduces a bill to abolish the human rights tribunals, but is that going to pass? I don't know. Dicey. Even though they've absolutely lost the plot, it's part of communism to have the ability to just show me the man and I'll find the crime type deal. So that's part of it, right? So if you do something that they don't like, they'll just make shit up and destroy your life. They don't have to put you in jail. They'll just bankrupt you, right? So, and then maybe put you in jail because you've robbed a bank or something. If they remove the other options and force you to break the law, whose fault is that? Your fault or their fault? I think their fault. And I'm not saying we should break the law. I'm saying they're maneuvering people into a position of desperation, and they damn well know it. And I think that's their fault, not our fault. Yesterday, I was lamenting that I was getting lots of emails saying, hey, like, have you started the show? Did you forget to upload the show? Please continue to email me. I didn't mean to sound upset about it. I was only upset yesterday because I had been taken off my morning schedule and everything was pushed back by hours. It was crazy. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm working on the show. Please, I'm working on it. I can't do anything. I'm sitting here in this doctor's office. I can't do anything about it. So anyways, somebody asked me yesterday to transport them to a doctor's office for an appointment. And they were like, it's super quick. And I was like, okay, sounds great. We'll do that. No problems. And we did that. And it was not super quick. So I'm sorry. Please do email me. Yesterday, I had emails at 2:00 too, because I completely forgot. Well, just the structure of everything, and because I was off my regular game, I didn't post my show on the website. So whoops. Thank you everybody for emailing me. Please keep it up. I appreciate it. I really do, despite my crankiness yesterday. Mass layoffs are here with AI. And so that's where we're going to start today. So there's lots to get to. Let's get to it first. Michelle Rempel says, Canada is not ready for this. No, we're not ready for this whatsoever. Jack says, this is Jack, the former Twitter CEO. Now he runs a company called Blocks, and Blocks does things, building blocks. It's payments. They do payments, I think. That's what they do, and maybe marketing. But he says, we're making Blocks smaller today. Here's my note to the company. He's laying off 4,000 people. Laying off, fired, you're all fired. Today we're making one of the hardest decisions in the history of our company, which has only been around for a few years, like When did Elon Musk buy Twitter? Anyway, we're reducing our organization by nearly half, from over 10,000 people to just under 6,000. That means over 4,000 of you are being asked to leave or entering into consultation. I'll be straight about what's happening, why, and what it means for everyone. First off, if you're one of the people affected, you'll receive your salary for 20 weeks and 1 week per year of tenure, equity vested through the end of May, 6 months of health care, your corporate devices, and $5,000 to put toward whatever you need to help you in this transition. If you're outside the US, you'll receive similar support, but exact details are going to vary based on local requirements. I want you to know that before anything else, anything else, everyone else will be notified today whether you're being asked to leave, entering consultation, or asked to stay. We're not making this decision because we're in trouble. Our business is strong. Gross profits continue to grow. We continue to serve more and more customers, and profitability is improving. But something has changed. We're already seeing that the intelligence tools we're creating and using, paired with smaller and flatter teams, are enabling a new way of working, which fundamentally changes what it means to build and run a company. And that's accelerating rapidly. I had two options: cut gradually over months or years as the shift plays out, or be honest about where we are and act on it now. I chose the latter. Repeated rounds of cuts are destructive to morale, to focus, and to the trust that the customers and shareholders place in our ability to lead. I'd rather take a hard, clear action now and build from a position we believe in than manage a slow reduction of people towards the same outcome. A smaller company also gives us the space to grow our business the right way on our own terms instead of constantly reacting to market pressures. A decision at this scale carries risk, but so does standing still. We've done a full review to determine the roles and people we require to reliably grow the business from here, and we've pressure tested these decisions from multiple angles. I accept that we may have gotten some of them wrong, and we've built in flexibility to account for that and do the right thing with our customers. So you get it. The AI revolution is here, and Canada's not prepared. And Canada just won't react. Canada just won't do anything. Like, we've had years of AI doing seamless translation, yet we pay a lot of money to have translation done by humans, which doesn't make any sense at all. It's a waste of money. And what are we doing? We're subsidizing workforce, right? So maybe we should look the problem in the eye and actually try and solve it, rather than try and maintain an old system that's dying, that's broken down. Stock market news says Jack Dorsey just fired half his company, not gradually, but all at once. More than 4,000 people gone. And the stock didn't crash. It exploded 22%. Here's what's really going on. Block, the company behind Cash App, Square, and Afterpay, just announced the largest AI-driven layoff in corporate history. Headcount is being cut from 10,000 to under 6,000. This was not a distress signal. The company is profitable and the revenue is growing. Dorsey chose this. His exact words were, "Intelligence tools have changed what it means to build and run a company. Significantly smaller team using the tools we're building can do more and can do it better." Translation: AI can do their jobs now, so they're gone. But here's the part that should concern everyone. Dorsey didn't stop there. He said most companies will reach the same conclusion within a year. I'd rather get there honestly and on our own terms than be forced into it reactively. He's not apologizing, but he's warning. The numbers tell the story Wall Street wanted to hear. Back in 26, or Block's 26 profits guidance is up 54%. Earnings per share share projection of $3.66, crushing an analyst's expectations of $3.22. Gross profits growing 18%. The math is brutal but simple. Fewer humans, more margins. Inside their company, this has been building for months. Block already cut 10% of staff earlier this month and 1,000 more last year. Every remaining employee was required to use AI tools daily. AI fluency was built into performance reviews. If you couldn't keep up, you were next. The internal AI platform is called Goose. Top Gun. It started as a small engineering testing tool 2 years ago. Now nearly every employee uses it. Engineers are shipping 40% more code per person than they were 6 months ago. And that's the productivity gain that made 4,000 people expendable. And here's the part nobody's talking about. Days before this announcement, a research firm called Sentry published a fictional scenario. AI tools so powerful they forced mass layoffs across America. It rattled markets. Then Block made it real. Wall Street's reaction is the most dangerous signal of all. A company fires half its people and the stock rockets up 22%. Every board in America just watched that happen. Every CEO just did the math. Every worker should understand what that means for them. This is not one company's decision. This is a blueprint. The question is no longer whether AI will replace jobs. It's how fast. AI can do lots of things on the computer. But it can't pull coal out of the ground. It can't be on an oil rig. I mean, it can be on an oil rig, but it can't do the oil rig job unless it's got those Chinese kung fu robots, in which case, Shaggy. But yeah, Optimus. Can you imagine Optimus, a bunch of Optimus robots pulling oil out of oil refineries? They won't do that. They'll just put up solar panels. It'd be ridiculous. Anyway, I think that there are still services that can't be done by AI effectively still, but less and less, especially as they bring robots in. There's a bunch of entrepreneurs that use like ground clearing or like stump grinding or whatever, removal of debris or whatever it is. And AI can't do that. So you could spin something up like that. But then how long before you get like a Roomba for your backyard, or a Roomba for like a big mass Roomba for, an area, and it's smart enough to not eat the pool or whatever, right? Like, I don't know, man. Scary stuff. And I'm seeing AI. I'm using AI. And if you don't use AI, you are falling behind, which is a scary thought but I solved a problem yesterday that a human, I think it would have been very difficult. It was a match of 3 characters within a long character string for an obscure security rule that would have taken me days to find, going through, like looking for it, if I even figured out that was a correlation. Like, so I don't know, man. It's pretty wild, because I was able to figure it out within 2 hours using the AI, but I don't think I would have been able to, if I was manually reviewing the code, I would have never correlated those 2 things as being related. So it's wild. Brave new world, man. It's crazy. Trending Politics says, behind closed doors, liberals and conservatives are exploring deals to end the gridlock and keep Prime Minister Carney's minority government afloat, even as the Prime Minister downplays the talk of a spring election. And they want to ram through C9, right? Paula says, we saw the corruption long ago. The the conservative liberals passed the liberal budget. And they could have brought the government down, but instead they passed the liberal government. C9, I've got the C9 stuff coming, but it's not here. It should have been there, but yeah, they're going to try and end debate on C9 and ram it through. That's in a tab later in the show, but I don't want to pick around trying to find it right now. So while Carney and Poilievre are looking for common ground to make sure that the minority government doesn't fall and that they're able to get their censorship laws passed, because they both are uniparty and they both want censorship laws. Yesterday, after a raucous debate, they did another vote to make sure that illegals would get health care. So Blacklocks is reporting Commons votes 198 to 134 to maintain free medical benefits for illegal immigrants following pointed debate. It's disgusting. It is disgusting. It is disgusting. Absolutely. There was a big speech by Pierre Poilievre yesterday, and I thought to myself, what does it matter? Who cares? Sure, he says some things that sound great sometimes, but then when there's an election, he says Slava Ukraini, and then goes and holds Mark Carney's hand, and it's just weird. It is a strategy to make it seem like he wants to be an effective opposition leader, but he's not, and I don't think he actually wants to win. So anyway, here's Pierre Poilievre at this big speech everybody's talking about yesterday. Everybody's super excited. They're like, oh, that's my prime minister. And I'm like, man, we're all getting played, and these people are helping play us. Anyway, here's Poilievre just to hear what he's saying. Again, I don't believe in the uniparty. I don't believe that this is the solution. I don't believe that these people represent us at all. But this is the game we're all playing, right? And so I'm interested in watching the game, and I'm interested in watching the game when we all realize that we're being played and we go and look at the right people instead of these people who are just misleading us.
Engagement. Conservatives stand in favor of a free trade agreement with India and deeper ties with other countries. But diversification must be grounded in realism. Not all partners are interchangeable. The Prime Minister proclaimed in the Davos speech that he wanted a new middle power alliance. Actually, there's nothing new about it at all. We already have that. We've had it for years. In fact, Canada already has free trade with over 50 other countries, and most of them are middle powers. We should look to deepen those relationships, but their markets are already open to us. But the problem, here's the problem, and here's the irony. The problem is not that these countries block our products from coming in, it's that our own government blocks our products from getting out. And that is the major trade barrier. Signing meaningless communiques or more stagecraft masquerading as statecraft won't fix that reality. In fact, some of the worst tariffs imposed on Canada today are those imposed by the government here. Slow permits, changing rules, high taxes, outright bans on shipping oil off our northwest BC coast. We have the second slowest building permits anywhere in the OECD. It now takes 19 years to get a mine approved. None of that has changed in the last year. On doit retirer les tarifs.
So there you go. We've done nothing, and we continue to do nothing, and we will continue to be harmed by our inaction. And it doesn't make any sense. Harrison says, Pierre Poilievre on Mark Carney's trade agreement with China, we should not declare a permanent rupture with our biggest customer and closest neighbor in favor of a strategic partnership for a new world order with Beijing. China is not a substitute for the United States of America. Here's Poilievre saying exactly that.
Canada's prosperity and security are inseparable from a stable relationship with the United States. And that is why we should not declare a permanent rupture with our biggest customer and closest neighbor in favor of a strategic partnership for a new world order with Beijing, a regime the Prime Minister himself said was the biggest threat to Canada just a year ago. Now, we seek no fight with China or its people, who make up a brilliant and extraordinary civilization. But its government and its proxies have kidnapped our citizens, stolen our technology.
Hold up. He just said a great and wonderful civilization, but that great and wonderful civilization stole our technology? So remember what I just said, forget about it. What?
Our citizens, stolen our technology, interfered in our elections, and pushed fentanyl into our streets. Canada should talk and trade where prudent, but never make the mistake of confusing engagement with dependency. China is not a substitute for the United States of America.
And yet, that's the base of Carney's whole solution to the USMCA that he's tanking on purpose. Lisa Raitt is talking about, well, trying to get CBC on topic. They're just trying to take down Poilievre, and Lisa Raitt's trying to say, what about the policy he's putting forward in this wonderful speech that he said? I'll let them talk, but again.
I'll give last word to you. I thought it was a good speech. I think it's his best speech he's given in a year. And it did the things that I think most of the people that come on shows like this have been asking for him to do.
Yeah, but you're missing a complete half of the speech. We're talking about feelings and emotions and what Donald Trump's going to do and what Pierre needs to do. Let's talk about the 4 large pieces of policy that he put on the table today. He talked about what he's going to do in energy, what he's going to do in housing, what he's going to do in defense, and what he's going to do in digitization. All really good ideas to ensure Canada increases its own leverage at the negotiation table with Donald Trump. I, for sure, would rather hear a speech like that so that I'm trying to put tools in place to help me with the negotiation than wringing my hands and whining about Donald Trump and who he talks about last. That, to me, is something we should not be focusing on in this country. It's not naivete whatsoever. It's actually focusing on what we can do and what we can change instead of worrying about what the other guys are doing.
I don't disagree. Right? Like, I don't disagree. Sam says Carney is gaslighting reporters on India like he's gaslighting reporters on China, like he's gaslighting reporters on Canada's fentanyl exports. In a nutshell, facts don't matter. Carney decides Canada's threat landscape. And Paul says senior Canada officials told reporters in a briefing the government does not believe India is still meddling in this country through foreign interference, transnational repression, or violence. Activities Ottawa has previously linked to New Delhi. So Carney comes in, he says, I don't see anything. I don't know what my eyes are closed, by the way. I don't see anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Kian says, Alberta French-speaking population, 1.6%. Saskatchewan French-speaking population, 1.1%. But that doesn't matter to the ostrich killers at the CFIA who just shut down a Calgary distillery for not speaking French. So there's no French on their labels. You can't be in the liquor store, sir. Get out of here. So that's wild. They will have compliance, and they will death by 1,000 cuts you if you resist at all. Already 20 minutes? We're already at 20 minutes? Holy smoke. The food professor says, Mr. Van K, if climate change is a significant driver in food inflation in Canada, how do you explain the fact that food inflation in the United States is currently less than half of ours? And Mark says, Adam Van K says, conservatives should do a little reading. The reason for food is so expensive is because of climate change. What nonsense. Utter nonsense. Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Look, Canadians Canadians are sick and tired of these alternative conservative facts from the opposition, Mr. Speaker. We all know that food costs too much, but instead of exploiting the challenges that are facing Canadians right now, the Conservatives should do a little bit of reading and look into why food costs too much, Mr. Speaker. All the research indicates that 85% of the food inflation is due to imported factors like war and tariffs and extreme weather due to climate change, something the Conservatives refuse to acknowledge and don't believe in, Mr. Speaker. Look, the groceries and essentials benefit will help 12.6 million Canadians. Why won't the Conservatives get on board and help a Canadian for a change? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Look, Canadians are sick and tired of these
We're sick and tired of
conservative
being lied to. We're sick and tired of these liberals who think their poop don't stink. Too Much says, Mike Commodore just confirmed on Flames Nation Barnburner show that Wayne Gretzky was to pump up Team Canada ahead of the gold medal game versus Team USA, but the president of Hockey Canada, Catherine Henderson, said you aren't welcome inside the locker room. Wow, unreal. Hockey Canada is broken. I would have donned some kind of disguise or something like that. I would have James O'Keefe'd it and gotten in there somehow, right? Oh, the claim that Wayne Gretzky requested but was denied entry to Team Canada's locker room is false, apparently. Hockey Canada stated this is not true. Did Wayne Gretzky say it? I don't know if Wayne Gretzky said it. I'm gonna try and find out if that's real or not, but take it with a grain of salt. But I believe the rumor of Wayne Gretzky being denied more than I believe Hockey Canada, because Hockey Canada doesn't understand what male and female mean. So yeah, I don't believe them. And the reason is because they have zero credibility, because they're liars. Elise says, let me say this about the Globe and Mail's decision to run this lead. So the Globe and Mail ran this. This is real. And everybody and their dog is trying to pick a fight with the United States, except the United States is jacked and armed to the teeth. And all we've got, we don't have anything. We have nothing at all. We hope that the United States continues to let us use their pool, just generally, because we're neighbors and stuff. And the United States is kind of pissed at us. And we keep doing things to piss them off. And it doesn't make any sense to me. Globe and Mail says the State of the Union was a zoo and the Team USA were the monkeys. Oh, okay. So attack those hockey players. It's wild. It's the media trying to taint your opinion on everything, and that's wild. Kelsey says, breaking, sick kids in Toronto is removing parent access to their children's health records and decision-making. Ironic how mature minors is being discussed by this hospital, and now this, more to come. Protect your children at all costs. This government wants to manipulate and made